おはようございます。2025年12月8日、お経スピーチの中の、一部を、動画に撮ります。お経スピーチはですね、基本的には英検1級の二次試験、その過去問または予想問題、を、200語前後でまとめて、それを、1回覚えると。で、そしてそれを練習するというやり方ですね。この一連の作業のことをお経スピーチというふうに呼んでおります。79から60ですから、全部で20個ですからね。それをやるということですね。もうちょっと大きい方が見えるかな。これが一応、原稿なんですけどね。これをさっとまず見ますね。まず79はですね、空き家問題ですね。この空き家問題というものに対して、ちゃんと、えっと、行われているであるか。whether enough is being done to the abandoned house or 空き家ですね。それになります。では、やってみましょう。Where a care or abandoned house is, あれ、なんでしょう。ちょっともう一回ね。間違えました。enough is being done でした。ちょっといきなり間違えてしまいました。もう一回いきますね。はい。whether enough is done to abandon the house or care is a controversy debate, and my answer is no. While a lot of efforts are being done, the scale of this issue is larger. Today I'm going to talk about three things. Current situation, several causes, and government initiative. First of all, let's talk about current situation. As of October 2023, there are about 9 million abandoned houses here in Japan, and other estimates suggest that the actual number is much larger. Secondly, there are several causes, and one major cause is demographic shift. Aging, shrinking population, and urban migration has been making a lot of Akia every year. And when elderly owners pass away or moved into nursery homes, their homes are left empty, even, especially in every rural area. And actually, a lot of girls are inherited to young owners, but they don't want to live in, refurbish, or demolish them. Finally, let's talk about the government initiative. In 2050, the central government made a law, and thanks to this law, local government have more power to deal with high-risk properties. For example, they can give warnings to owners, and if owners don't obey the warnings, young owners can demolish them at the owner's expense. In conclusion, um, the Japanese government are doing many things to cure problem, but there are many ongoing challenges. Thank you. なんか調子悪いな。はい、次行きます。グローバリゼーションですね。はい。で、グローバリゼーションは、ポジティブ、ですね。ですかね。はい。で、行きました。はい。じゃあ、グローバリゼーション is one、消しますね。よいしょ。Globalization is one of the keywords we often heard in the general election of upper house members because one of the popular parties, Sunset Party, strongly opposes globalization. And my opinion is almost the same as theirs, so I disagree with it. Today I'm going to talk about three things: disparity, erosion of sovereignty, and hindrance to world peace. First of all, globalization aggravates disparity between the rich and the poor. For one thing, free trade agreement is are among the ways to promote globalization, but they focus too much on economic growth and efficacy. As a result, they have created a lot of jobless people and large income difference between rent seekers and low-skilled workers. Secondly, あーと secondly, あれなんだっけ、グローバルで。it promotes erosion of sovereignty. Here in Japan, a lot of real estates have been bought by foreign capitals, especially Chinese capitals. Also, authorities from politics to businesses, natural was has been occupied naturalized Japanese little by little. This means Japanese sovereignty is at a great risk now. Then finally, globalization sometimes hinder world peace. For example, Russia-Ukraine war, G7 and a lot of developed nations support Ukraine. Those supporting Russia send troops and weapons to Russia, and several countries have bought natural resources from Russia despite a strong sanction. In conclusion, world peace has a more negative impact than the positive one, regrettably. Thank you. うん。はい、次はですね、世界の、何ですかね、飢餓というものは、これは、どうですかね、なんか絶滅できるかどうかっていうことですかね。はい。Whether world hunger can ever be eliminated or not is a controversial debate. In my opinion, at present, it is significantly challenging. But from the long-term point of view, there are a lot of effective ways. Today, I'm going to talk about both of them. Firstly, at present, there are a lot of people who are suffering from hunger, especially those caught in the crossfire of the international conflict, such as people in Gaza and Sudan. So, provision of food for them is essential for their survival. To do so, humanitarian aid by UN is necessary. Now we stop sending all the money and weapons to any conflict and prioritize provision of food. Secondly, from long-term point of view, there are a lot of ways to abate this problem. For example, seafood industry is one of them because seafood resources are much more than land food resources. And if marine ecosystem is well maintained, they can generate themselves automatically. Uh, Also, aquaculture has a great potential, and I hear that it had already produced more than half of seafood consumption. With regard to agriculture, there are two types, big size and small size. And big size farmers should proactively introduce smart technology, while small farmers should focus on organic farming by using subsidies and small loans without collateral. And I think animal and plants cloning has a great potential to abate this issue. In conclusion, at present, there are a lot of people who are suffering from hunger, but world hunger could be eliminated by some ways I mentioned. Thank you very much. うん、次。ウェザーアル、アルコールがですね、タバコよりも、社会に害があるかですね。Whether alcohol is more damaging to society than tobacco is a very difficult problem because both do a lot of damage to our health, and some may insist that tobacco じゃないや、酒、alcohol has more direct impact such as traffic accident by drunken drivers, violence and crimes. However, these have not been so serious so far in Japan because Japanese people are pretty sociable and sensible. So I disagree with this comment. Uh, Tobacco is more damaging. Today I'm going to talk about three things: mortality, long-term health issue, and second-hand smoking. First of all, let's talk about mortality. According to the data of World Health Organization, tobacco kills more than 8 million people every year worldwide, and this figure is almost large, uh, 3 times as large as that of alcohol. Secondly, smoking habit has caused a long-term health issue. For example, it is one of the main causes of many kinds of cancers, lung, stomach, and liver cancers. It might lead to heart attacks and strokes, which can persist until death. Finally, let's talk about secondhand smoking. The number 8 million I mentioned includes that of 1.3 million non-smokers due to second-hand smoking exposure. So if you have heavy smokers in your friends and in your family members, you risk suffering from cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. In conclusion, it's obvious tobacco is more damaging to the society than alcohol. Thank you. Whether keeping, これね、動物をですね、なんですか、人間の管理下に置くということがね、あれですかね、正当化されるかという感じですか。Whether keeping animals in captivity can be justified or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is no. It is mainly because animal welfare. Today I'm going to talk about how humans have been destroying habitat of animals and the fact it's too late to restore ecosystem. Uh, First of all, humans have been focusing too much on economic growth, and as a result, a large scale of development has been making a lot of animals and plants disappear very quickly. This biodiversity loss and ecosystem devastation is going much faster than we can imagine. Now, it is almost impossible to restore it uh, by only power of nature. What we have to do is to make their habitats and therefore reforestation uh, from animal welfare, keeping animals in captivity is not fair to them. Secondly, zoos and aquariums used to be a good place for human entertainment, and even now some insist that they are a good place to keep endangered species and raise awareness of importance of maintaining ecosystem. However, it's too late. Ecosystem was destroyed too much, and too many species already extinct. Now we should let all animals free from human entertainment. In conclusion, keeping animals in captivity cannot be justified anymore. Thank you. 次はですね、なんだかな、これは。これはですね、宇宙探検プログラムがですね、と、あれですね、やって、ね、価値があるか、ね、コストの分価値があるかというね、そういうやつですかね。Whether space exploration programs are worth the cost or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is absolutely yes. Today I'm going to talk about three things. To, cost effectiveness, current practices, and future prospect. First of all, let's talk about the actual cost of space exploration. You might think it is quite expensive. However, it is quite low. For example, US expenditure on NASA is about only 0.5% of total federal budget. Despite a lot of advantages, the cost is quite low. Secondly, let's think about the current practice is we can gain other precise weather forecast thanks to meteorological satellites. And lately, we have often encountered sudden torrential rains. So to know about where the thick clouds are and when they arrive by meteorological satellite is quite important. Also, satellites can observe surface of the Earth, which give us real-time information about natural disasters like major earthquakes, typhoon, tsunami, and so on. Uh, which enables us to take quick action. Finally, um, let's talk about the future prospect. For one thing, space exploration programs inspire a lot of students and researchers in STEM field. Also, space exploration can detect new energy sources and rare metal. Also, it produces a lot of spin-off benefits like carbon fiber, preserved food, and water purification. In conclusion, space exploration are worth the cost for sure. Thank you. ちょっとね。はい、次は73ですね。メディアはですね、何でしょうか、少年犯罪の問題をですね、ちょっと誇張しすぎてはいないか、賛成反対みたいな感じですね。Yes. Whether the media exaggerate juvenile crimes or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is yes and no. Today, I'm going to talk about あれ while regarding the number of juvenile crimes, it may exaggerate. Concerning the quality, it may underestimate. Today, I'm going to talk about both of them. Firstly, let's talk about the actual number of juvenile crimes. You may think it is increasing partly because you have often seen juvenile crimes in the media, but actually, since 2000, the number has significantly and steadily been falling. On the other hand, the crime of juvenile crimes has been significantly changing and more worse, more and more 失敗。ちょっと待って more and more worse and worse, worse and worse. For example, the clearest example is dark part-time job called Unbridled. And it is uh, cross-border and organized crimes using internet, which the vulnerable young people usually join. And its deployment and network is too complicated to identify, and anonymity and changing location make it hard to catch them. Also, it sometimes kills vulnerable senior citizens. So the Japanese old media don't completely report them. In conclusion, the Japanese media may exaggerate the number of children crimes, but may underestimate the seriousness. Thank you. 次。これは、何ですかね、ナショナルセキュリティをちゃんと保障するのにですね、十分なことを日本はやってるかですかね。Whether Japan is doing enough to ensure its national security or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is clearly no. On the contrary, it's not too much to say that Japan is a hotbed for cybercrimes and hacking attacks. Today, I'm going to talk about two things: hacking attacks by the government and big corporations, and decoding by quantum computing. First of all, let's think about the cybercrimes by the government and big corporations. These are not only about stealing money, but also about espionage, attacking infrastructure and manipulating opinions, and sometimes nations hack as nations. For example, the other day there were a large scale of hacking attacks on bank accounts of stock exchange market, and many stocks are bought and sold without notice. Also, Ascro and Asahi Brewer Corporation were hit by large-scale hacking attacks. And now it may be said we are caught in the crossfire of hacking attacks anytime, anywhere. Secondly, quantum computing has a great power for breaking current encryption. Almost everything online, from bank transaction to national security secret, largely depend on complicated codes. However, quantum computers were once powerful enough, could decode them in seconds, and as a result, all the data and communications became completely vulnerable. But Japanese government hasn't dealt with this issue yet. In conclusion, Japan isn't doing enough to ensure its national security. Thank you. うーん、次、どれだ。これね、地方分権進めるべきかなんですけど、前の政府のでしたけど、これはまあ一般的に、進めるべきかみたいな感じですかね。Whether there should be decentralization or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is strongly yes. Today, it is often said Japan's centralization has gone too far, but I don't think so. Today, I'm going to talk about two things. Big cities except for capital city Tokyo and smart agricultural cities. First of all, let's talk big cities except for Tokyo. Uh, Compared with from global point of view, compared with primary cities like Seoul in South Korea and Bangkok in Thailand, Japan has a lot of big cities, except for Tokyo, like Yokohama, Osaka, Nagoya, and other big cities whose population is more than 1 million. All these big cities have big ports where there are a lot of international trade, big terminals with which people can easily access the cities, and industrial and commercial district, which gives a lot of jobs to local people, and entertainment place that young people want to visit. Secondly, let's think about smart agriculture cities. You might think agriculture has a lack of young successors. However, from global point of view again, it is often said in 2050 the world population will become 10 billion, and we will surely face food depression due to overpopulation. So smart agriculture cities have a great potential. And for one thing, Japan has a lot of agriculture infrastructure like rice paddies. So all we have to do is introduce smart technology and recruiting young farmers. In conclusion, there should be more decentralization, and we should think more about big cities except for Tokyo and smart agricultural cities. Thank you. 60、70番。なんだ。これはですね、絶滅危惧品種を取り戻す科学的な努力は無駄か、みたいな感じですかね。 with scientific efforts to bring back extinct species are a waste of time or not is a controversial debate, and regrettably, my answer is yes. We are facing unprecedented ecosystem devastation. Today, I'm going to talk about two reasons. The overemphasis on economic growth and lack of fiscal values. So let's talk about uh, overemphasis on economic growth. So humans have been focusing too much on economic growth and convenience. As a result, a large scale of development has been making a lot of animals and plants disappear very quickly. This biodiversity loss and ecosystem devastation is going much faster than we can imagine. As a result, while we are trying to bring back one old species, 10 new species might disappear according to scientific data. And despite these challenges, there are a lot of strong economic struggles between G7 and BRICS countries, and they will continue to develop infrastructure by reclaiming lands and cutting down a lot of trees. We cannot stop this conflict. Secondly, we lack of fiscal values. For example, we don't respect nature enough and have been pursuing convenience too much to think about our future, the future of our planet. In conclusion, the scientific efforts to bring back extinct species are waste of time. It may be too late, but we should change our mindset from human-centered to us-centered. Thank you.これはですね、技術を、発展途上国に移転するということは彼らの経済的な発展につながるであろうかとですね。うん、では、69します。Whether transferring technology to developing nation is the key to their economic growth or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is absolutely yes. Today, I'm going to talk about three reasons. The general idea of its advantage is Japan's contribution and what we should think about. Firstly, let's talk about the general ideas of its advantages. When developing nations receive technology, they can produce more goods, create a new industry, and develop their agriculture. Uh, it and it gives us a lot of it gives them local people a lot of jobs and better healthcare and education system. It helps improve their economic standard and living standard and economic growth. Secondly, let's talk about Japan's contribution. Japan, after World War II, Japan could recover its economy and then start to share their knowledge and technology with developing nations, especially in Asia. A Japanese company built a lot of factories and infrastructure like bridges and roads, and taught how to use new machines and manage businesses. Even now, a lot of Asian students come to Japan to learn many technologies. And finally, let's talk about what we should think about. For one thing, development should be in harmony with natural environment. Also, corruption by the government and the big corporations should be avoided. In conclusion, uh, transferring technology to developing nations is a key to their economy. But there are a lot of things we should seriously pay attention to. Thank you. これはですね、21世紀、今世紀はですね、宗教というものがその重要性というものを失ったかどうかというやつですね。Whether religion is losing its relevance is a controversial debate, and my answer is regrettably no. Today I'm going to talk about it here in Japan and globally. First, let's think about Japan's case. Many people in Japan often say they are atheist, and actually, while they still visit shrines and temples for a New Year, wedding, and funerals, these events are often seen as just cultural events. Also, two top religions, Shintoism and Buddhism, are often regarded as commercialized without deep faith. So, religion is losing its relevance here in Japan today. Secondly, global speaking, the situation is more complex. In person, I believe in Buddhism because its main idea is all life is equal and killing others, including other species, is fundamentally wrong. So if there are regions that bring about world peace, Buddhism would be the most likely. However, looking around the world, it is almost impossible for any region to bring about world peace. Sometimes religion causes more harm than good, like leading to killing vulnerable senior citizens. For example, in the Middle East, where Israeli and Palestine war has been continuing, and where millions of people have already been killed. Religious difference is the main factor to this conflict. In conclusion, here in Japan and globally, religion is losing its relevance in this century. Thank you. 67。これは、政府はですね、税金を有効に使っているかどうかですね。よし。Whether the Japanese government spends taxpayers' money wisely or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is absolutely no. Today I'm going to talk about two things, the structure of the government and poor outcomes over the last 30 years. Firstly, let's talk about the structure of the government. For one thing, many ministries do the similar things. For example, with the introduction of my number code, digital agencies and other ministry try to do the similar things, and this overlaps made all procedures and paperwork too complicated. As a result, it wasted a lot of time, money, and materials. Also, there is a ceiling system for budget. This means ministries try to keep same amount of money even if they don't need it. For example, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism want to start a new project. Meanwhile, they have strong relationship with big corporations like general contractors. So it may be said taxpayers' money is not used for taxpayers, but for benefit of these companies and kickbacks to the politicians. Secondly, let's think about poor outcomes over the 30 years, such as lowered GDP. When I was young, the number was always number two in the world, but prosperity has gone too far. Uh, in conclusion, taxpayers' money is not used wisely for sure, in my opinion. Thank you. 次はですね、自己防衛のために拳銃を持って良いかどうか個人がというね、そういう題名になりますね。やってみますか。Whether people should have the right to own their firearms for self-defense or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is clearly no. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about two things. Low crime rate and new challenges. Firstly, let's talk about the low crime rate of Japan. Japan has very strong rules about gun ownership, so it is extremely difficult for ordinary people to own firearms. And this laws really creates remarkable outcomes. Japan has one of the lowest crime rates, especially gun violence. So generally speaking, Japan is a very safe and peaceful society because guns are not common. Secondly, however, there are a lot of challenges. For one thing, serious crimes became more and more. For example, cross-border crimes and organized crimes using the internet, such as dark part-time job, is increasing, and they sometimes kill vulnerable citizens. Also, crimes related to immigrants is unprecedentedly increasing. However, giving more people guns would not solve these problems. Instead, it would likely increase gun violence and make our society less safe. In conclusion, we shouldn't have the right to own firearms for self-defense. Our low crime rate proves society without guns is a safer society. Thank you. 次はですね、あ報道レポートは日本のジャーナリズムで、大きな役割を果たしていくべきかどうかですかね。えっと、whether investigating, reporting should have a bigger role in Japanese journalism is a controversial debate, and my answer is strongly no. It doesn't work well in Japan. There are two reasons: poor quality of Japanese journalism and strong relationship with those in power. Firstly, the quality of Japanese journalism is not good. It often gives us biases and misinformation, and especially with regard to global issues like geopolitics, their report is quite different from that of other developed nations. For example, the Israeli and US attack Iranian nukes, Japanese media focused too much on a violation of international laws. However, there are a lot of complicated historical backgrounds, and we cannot allow any terrorist group justice. And there are a lot of Russian involvement of Iranian nuclear development. Secondly, Japan's old media has strong relationship with those in power, like ruling party LDP and big corporations. And these complicated connections sometimes create a hotbed for corruption and kickbacks to the politicians. So what should we do? We should be smart enough to choose correct information through a lot of sources, including social media platform, and should compare a lot of information to know full truth. In conclusion, we shouldn't always believe in investigating report by Japanese media because of poor quality and a strong relationship with those in power. Thank you. 64。ペット産業はもっと、日本のペット産業は、もっと、そう、規制されるべきかですかね。Whether Japan's pet industry should more tightly regulated or not is a controversial debate, and my answer is absolutely yes. Today I'm going to talk about two things, animal welfare and pet abandonment. Firstly, let's think about animal welfare. Many Japanese people uh, buy wildlife as their pets, like some reptiles and exotic birds, which can live well in the house. Also, when they are kept as pet, their instinct might change and become more domestic. This is not fair to them, so animals sold as pets should be limited to common domestic animals like dogs and cats. Secondly, another issue is pet abandonment. Every year, a lot of pets are left behind by their pet owners. These owners buy pets without long-term responsibility. They should find it difficult to take care of pets. For example, some people buy turtles called midorigame, which is very strong for its species, at the Stroze Matsuri Festival. However, some of them instantly and easily discard them into ponds and rivers, and they sometimes destroy ecosystem because they are very strong. In conclusion, for animal welfare and to reduce pet abandonment, Japan's pet industry should be more tightly regulated. Thank you. どこまで行ったかわかんない。63番ですかね。これね。まあ、抗議運動ね、プロテストムーブメントね、今、新潟でもあれね、原発反対のね、抗議運動、されてますけどね。まあ、あれですね、私は思うに、僕は、まあ、日本のその仏教っていうのはね、もう完璧にコマーシャル化されてよくないと思うんですけど、その思想とか、まあ、日本には、まあ、多くの仏教思想がいるわけで、まあ、二大思想家、挙げろって言われたら、まあ、僕は、まあ、空海と日蓮なんですね。で、まあ、日蓮の方はですね、もちろん創価学会の方々もね、一生懸命活動してらっしゃいますし、それとですね、やっぱりこう、なんて言うんでしょうかね、本当にこの抗議活動っていうんですか、その時に必ずやっぱりこう、日蓮信者の方々がですね、もうやっぱり頑張って活躍されてると、まあ、今回のですね、新潟の原発の、再稼働反対、運動の中にもですね、ハンガーストライキをやっておられるということでね、まあ、命ね、大事にしていただきたいと思いますけどね、まあ、すごいなと思いますね。その江戸時代の最初にね、なんて言うんでしょうか、その宗教弾圧ね、仏教弾圧というものが行われました。でもその時にですね、唯一反抗したのがですね、その檀家制度に入らないと言ってね、反抗したのが日蓮宗の布施富士派でした。それから、明治時代、大正時代、昭和時代、特にですね、大正時代にですね、まあ、軍隊さんの力がですね、どんどんこう、まあ、平和、まあ、一次大戦後ね、平和の方向に向かう中でですね、その陸軍の腐敗と、それからですね、政治家の腐敗、どんどん、日本が悪くなる、そういう状況の中でですね、その日蓮の教えというものをですね、まあ、廃仏毀釈もあったわけですからね、その日蓮の教えというものを、まあ、こう素晴らしいと言ってね、広めた田中知学という人がいました。で、そして、日蓮宗というよりも日蓮信者の方々がですね、例えば石原幹二であるとか、大阪、えーっと、 大川襲名であるとかね、北一揆であるとか、そういった人たちがですね、やはりこう日蓮のその思想というものを、一つのその核にするべきだっていうような、その近代に至るまでもですね、そういう、大きな流れというものがあったという意味で、日蓮というのはすごいなというふうに思うわけですね。で、空海がなんですごいかというのはまた、別にちょっとあるのですが、そんなことをですね、この講義有道ということをこう考えながら、つらつら思ってしまいました。はい。では、消してやっていきたいと思います。Whether protest movement are effective way for a change is a controversial debate, and my answer is, from global point of view, it may be effective, but here in Japan, it is not effective. Today, I'm going to talk about why this is not effective in Japan and the importance of social media platform. First of all, Japanese people don't like protest movement. Many people, including me, see them as violent activities and don't want to be a participant. So protest movements are not effective. Secondly, on the other hand, we live in an internet-driven society, and especially after COVID-19, everyone from younger generation to older generation used social media platform, especially X and YouTube channel as a powerful tool to know about real policy and powerful tool for a change. And also, these platforms are essential to the politicians to appeal to their policy commitment and complain about the current administration. For example, the price of rice is a current issue because it has risen since last fall. And former agriculture minister, Mr. Edo, addressed inappropriate comment, and his comment are shared instantly among all over the people in Japan online. And as a result, he had to resign, and Mr. Koizumi was appointed as a new minister, and he tried to gain popularity and led the price down. This is a good example. Social media platform brought about real policy change. In conclusion, Japanese people don't like protest movement. Instead, we can use social media platform as a powerful tool for change. Thank you. みたいな感じでしょうか。ちょっとおしゃべりをしてしまいました。英語は嫌いです。はい。この辺もね、実はね、本当はね、もう日本語で言うと細かいこと言いたいこといっぱいあるんですけどね。英語ではこんなもんですね。はい。何かって言ったらですね、労働組合というのはですね、そのビジネスの世界で役に立ってるのみたいな感じですかね。Regarding labor unions, there are mainly two types here in Japan, an enterprise union and industry union, and many Japanese employees belong to the former. And compared to the latter, an enterprise union is set up within a company, so some people insist that their activity is milder and they are superficial, but I don't think so. Japanese labor unions are very strong. Today I'm going to talk about three things. Firstly, Japanese labor unions are voices of employees. Employees wanted to talk about pay and working condition, and the labor unions ensure their voices can be heard by the bosses. This voice really helps make working place fair and happy. Secondly, labor unions can keep things stable. In Japan, labor unions are close to companies, so they sometimes work together instead of fighting. For example, when a new technology like AI is introduced, labor unions strongly promote the workers to master the skill. In other words, labor unions ensure workers can get training and support from companies. This policy really makes the company strong. Finally, lately, there is strong focuses on prevention of many kinds of harassment, and labor unions helps get information from surveys or direct feedback from the members. In conclusion, while Japanese labor unions are set up with companies, their power is very strong. ありがとうございました。さあ、あと残すところは2つですね。えーっと、個人主義というものが、ちょっと強調されすぎてはいませんかということですね。Whether there is too much emphasis on individualism in the society is a controversial debate. And in my opinion, here in Japan, individualism is well balanced and well reserved by some social values. Today I'm going to talk about three social values: modesty, humility, and hiding real feelings. Firstly, in Japan, modesty and humility are highly valued. People don't too much about their success and think about group benefit rather than their own. This ways of thinking really helps avoid too much individualism in Japan. Uh, and keep them from being too showing off and self self-centered. This means in Japan, group goals are more important than individual goals. Secondly, uh, that it is common for Japanese people to hide real feelings, to keep things smoothly within a group. Japanese people don't like argument. Instead, like to we like to we like to we like to make consensus, make consensus, to hear many ideas of many people and then to start to form consensus through peaceful processes like holding team meeting by using mind maps, PowerPoint, and two-way communication apps. And this peaceful way really helps to avoid too much individualism. In conclusion, here in Japan, individualism is not so much stressed by some social values I mentioned. Thank you. いやー、これちょっと、こけてしまいました。練習不足ですね。これか。じゃあ今日の最後ですね。これはですね、持続可能な地球規模の、漁業というものがね、を作るべきかですかね。In my opinion, we should do more to create a sustainable global fishing industry. Today, I'm going to talk about why this industry is important and what we should do. First of all, it is often said in 2050 the world population will become 10 billion. So seafood industry is very important because it will give a sustainable supply of nutrition, protein, fat, and other minerals and vitamins. And also seafood resources are much more than land food resources. And if marine ecosystem is well maintained, they can generate themselves automatically. So what we should do, so first of all, maintaining fish stocks is very important. Overfishing doesn't give us a sustainable supply. Also, these days, climate change has altered fish migration course. So, to introduce smart technology like fish sonar and detector is very important. Also, to waste a lot of to avoid a lot of waste, smart circulation and retailing system is important. Also, these days, I hear that aquaculture is very important because it already produces more than half of seafood consumption. In conclusion, we should do more to create a sustainable global fishing industry. Thank you. ということで、本日の今日スピーチ、もう半分ぐらいやろうかなと思ってるんですけど、今日ちょっと忙しいんで、もしかしたらこれで終わるかもしれません。では、ごきげんよう、さようなら。